Nice for you guys to drop by. That's Han Solo. Welcome back, everybody. It's the Resistance Broadcast. I'm John Hoey. Happy Monday to all of you out there. We're back on our regular slate of programming, which means it's our news show today with only one difference. No questions from you guys this week. We're doing some Resistance transmissions this week, and we'll tell you why in a little bit. But we have a great show. We're going to talk a lot about Episode 9. Some people are done filming. There's some fake snow everywhere. I don't know what's going on. Maybe James could fill us in on that stuff. So let's bring them in. James, Lacey, guys, how was your weekend? Happy Monday. Let's Resistance broadcast.
Let's Resistance broadcast. A weekend was good. Week's been good so far. My wife's out of town, so got a babysitter taking care of the little Bennett boy, that we can do some Star Wars chatting. So
thank you, Miss Poppins. We appreciate it.
Yes, exactly. Thank the Disney gods. Yep, that's my week. That's what we got going on.
All right, Lacey, what's
Lacey,
up?
what are you doing?
Nothing. It's super cold.
Yeah.
I'm freezing.
Yeah.
I have this nice Star Wars shirt on. I can't really show it because I'm just so cold.
Yeah, but you know what's funny? It's like the whole there's always a bigger fish thing. It's always colder somewhere else. And I heard recently in like Chicago in the Midwest, maybe even closer where James is, it's as cold as Antarctica, like literally.
Negative 60, yeah.
Yeah. So
yeah, it's cold.
I'll take our Connecticut 2 degrees over that. Guys, I don't know if you want to get into this because it was absolutely crazy, but our poll this past week, man.
What happened?
This is.
I mean, I love it.
Poll results right now. Okay, guys. So this poll, we simply asked 4 choices. What is your favorite Star Wars movie since Disney purchased Lucasfilm? And we have broken a record, folks, because nearly 6,000 people voted on our little poll here. Some very passionate people and some people definitely wedged their way in with certain narratives, and I won't get into too much of that. But we have the results, and they did surprise me. Not to bring back an old thing, but picking up the rear, unfortunately, is the underdog. Solo: A Star Wars Story, only picking up 7% of the vote there. Second, which this was the biggest surprise for me, The Force Awakens, only 18%, which is I voted for that.
Me too.
35% to The Last Jedi, and just edging out The Last Jedi, which was ahead by quite a bit early on. Not sure what happened. 40% went to Rogue One. Guys, Rogue One, the favorite. Shocked? Surprised? What do you think?
My vote. Here is 2 things that I noticed about this poll, and actually, I feel pretty proud of myself because the second it went up, I was like, John, this is what's going to happen. And then like 6,000 votes happened. The first thing is you can look at the comments because they come in order. Very Last Jedi front loaded. I think that's because here at the Resistance broadcast, we like a lot of Star Wars, and sometimes maybe we get defensive or a little bit of ownership on some of these movies. And when it comes to The Last Jedi, I think that a lot of people who listen to the show and a lot of people kind of in our small group of positive Star Wars community feels like there might be something to prove with that. Like, boom, Last Jedi. Boom, Last Jedi. Very heavy-handed on that option, and as it started to get bigger and bigger and bigger, the larger community as a whole says, no, I didn't really like that. I liked one of these other ones. The other thing I noticed is the Solo thing. Very, very low turnout for that movie, and I think it's really because of the way that the poll is worded. What's your favorite? Well, Solo could literally be every single person who voted's second favorite movie, but it's not their first, so it didn't get any votes. Does that make sense?
Yep.
But I do actually think that it probably would fall into somebody's like third or fourth in reality too. So maybe not 7%. That's
and those are good points. I think a lot of people commented on that as well. Lacey, you picked The Force Awakens, so did I. What's your take on the result on the poll?
I think it's because people are so quickly the ones to defend The Last Jedi Like, I feel like that's something that is like a trigger for people that they're like, I must defend it, even if it's not their favorite one. Whereas I'm going to be honest, it's not my favorite. I like not The Last Jedi. I like The Force Awakens the best. I'm looking at it on my screen. I like The Force Awakens the best. I think it's just still so magical to me because that's where everything kind of kicked off again. But Rogue One was good. I liked Solo better than Rogue One, so I guess I'm terrible at polls.
Yeah, I was very shocked by all this, seeing it go one way and then them edge and cross paths. And it was just absolutely wild. The amount of comments we got, the amount of retweets we got, people who are, write for StarWars.com get involved, and people who hate Star Wars get involved. And it was crazy. But for the most part, I got to thank everyone because I would say 95% of the people commenting were, even if they didn't like it, were civil and nice to each other. So we appreciate that. Thank you very much. And speaking of comments, we had a best comment, guys, and it went to one of our favorites. He got about 47 likes for this comment, so good for him. The Scottish of the Jayro,
Scottish Jayro,
Scotty Jayro said, "The Last Jedi was absolutely incredible. We got new Force abilities, Leia using the Force, starship kamikaze, Luke taking on the entire First Order without even being there physically, Yoda, a villain we care about, Snoke's death, throne room scene, and some of the best music ever. If that's not a snippet that belongs on the back of a VHS box, I don't know what is, Scotty." Great comment.
I like the way at one point it's worded as Yoda, comma, a villain we care for.
Yeah, right. You could screenshot that. Yeah, out of context. But yeah, thank you for that, Scotty. Now we had to take the two top choices here, the Rogue One and The Last Jedi, because they were so close. So we pitched it to our patrons over on our Patreon page and said, "You guys decide out of these two now, which one of these is your favorite?" And you guys, very close. I think it was like 52% to 48% still said Rogue One. So Rogue One took the taco, even by our Resistance officers. Thank you all for deciding that.
Why do people like Rogue One so much?
It's so good.
I know. Look, it's good. It's great.
Yeah.
I'm just asking, why does everybody like it so much? If you're basing it just on the Vader scene, then sure, why not? But other than that,
to me, I think it's a movie that is good, even if it wasn't set in Star Wars.
Okay.
Like, take the Force out of it because it's not really there. You know what I mean? Like, I think it almost works as just a science fiction movie. That
but
just,
it's like hovering around everything.
Yeah. I think there's something about like the espionage, spy thriller aspect of it that is just. It's just enough far away from Star Wars that it tickles our interest, but it's so firmly rooted in the deep core of stealing the Death Star plans that it's perfectly, cemented there in Star Wars as well. I don't know. It's just, I think it hits everybody's buttons.
And for some reason, when I reviewed some of the comments from some of the people that were really anti The Last Jedi on our poll, it seemed like they associate Rogue One as not affiliated with the Rian Johnson stuff. Like, that's the real Star Wars. The Rian Johnson is a bunch of BS. So it's almost like they picked... It's almost... I know it sounds ridiculous. It's almost like they
I think it's original trilogy versus sequel trilogy.
Yeah, but also it's almost like they picked... It's almost like they picked Rogue One as a screw you, like, stick it to The Last Jedi type of thing.
Nah,
that's
dog.
Just my take.
What?
I'm not saying that's me.
No, I'm just saying in the general. That's the general to the people that voted for Rogue One is the best movie that's come out. Really? Because I remember all y'all after The Force Awakens came out and you loved it. So
yeah. But I think it's
also
been,
The Force Awakens came out before Rogue One, so then
yeah,
it's been brought up too that Solo kind of caters to the original trilogy as well. So you have the Solo Rogue One fans that are like, oh, that's original trilogy, that's Star Wars, and then you have this like sequel trilogy crap, which is like not associated. That's not Leia, that's not Han Solo, that's not. Who are these people?
Yeah.
Right. It's interesting you say that, though, because the things that people complain about for The Last Jedi aren't in The Force Awakens. So I guess that's my other like critique of their critique.
Yeah, there's going to be different categories that I like one of these movies. Which one is it? Two of these movies. Which two are they?
And
you know what I mean?
Guys,
and they're going to have the reasons why it's split that way.
Out of all the polls we post, this was pretty evenly spread out in terms of results. There wasn't any like 67%er taking the whole thing here. So interesting. And thanks again for everybody who shared it. We actually got a lot of followers off of this thing and a lot of cool discussion. So in the end, I think it was a great positive thing. So thank you all.
Great.
But now it is time to get into what's going on in the news with Star Wars. We got some stuff that James Bainey is going to hop into right now in our Resistance Report. James, what's going on, buddy?
It's the Resistance.
Well, I'm going to be honest. It's not a ton of stuff, but it kind of all alludes to some pretty cool stuff. Most of it involves episode 9, though, and most of it involves things we saw on social media. So,
please, JJ, give us something to talk about.
yeah. As we're nearing the end, we're starting to get hints that some of the, I'll say, main actors are starting to get close to wrapping up themselves. One of the first ones to kick it off here is Anthony Daniels. Tweeted out that he's done. C-3PO wrapped. He's finished with all of his stuff. And to bounce off right after that, somebody asked John Boyega if he was done, and he's like, just got a little bit more. But he did also mention that this particular movie has been the most fun out of the 3 that he's shot so far, and that kind of lines up with what we've heard a lot about Oscar Isaac, as well, saying like we're Star Wars is loose. Remember all that stuff? We're having fun out here. It's a good time. So John Boyega is agreeing with that. He's saying that it's a lot of fun as well. Guys, do you think, Lacey, I'll jump to you first. We hear a lot that J.J. Abrams films in chronological order. I know that's not something that's like perfectly set in stone. I'm sure there's things that he shoots out of order, but C-3PO's done and the movie's still shooting. So does this close the door on C-3PO getting that last shot, that last line in the movie?
I would probably bet that C-3PO is not the last scene of this movie, of this trilogy, and of this series. I'm sorry,
I know
guys.
someone who might disagree.
I'm sorry, guys. It's just, you have to assume that the Skywalker saga is going to end with some type of Skywalker on screen. That being said, I don't think, the other thing I saw online was people were like, it must mean he dies. That doesn't mean that either. Like, he is what I would call a second... I saw people tweeting that. It was like, oh, he must die if he's done so early. And I was like, not necessarily. Oh, man. Maybe he just had so many lines and his lines were done. So therefore, he's done.
6 months of filming. He's done 2 weeks before everyone else. They're like, he's dead. That's it. He's dead.
Well, I guess it came off the whole poster thing. People were like, what does this mean? Yeah. Guys, we're so thirsty for content right now that people are just making stuff up.
Lacey, that's crazy. That's like Paul McCartney not wearing shoes in the Abbey Road cover. So they're like, Paul McCartney really died. It's not really him.
Man, I mean, that's evidence right there. John, so you think, because I saw this is some more social media stuff. I think you were the one that was leaning towards C-3PO's got to have the last line. So are you feeling like he's done filming, as in like they still have yet to shoot those final scenes of the movie?
Well, and I want to save this for later because, Resistance Transmissions, we really hop into this subject. So I don't want to get to it too much with that last line thing. But, it's quite possible they could have filmed, we know we need 3PO for the last line, so let's film the last shot of the movie so he can just get home and...
You're really banking on that, man.
No, I'm not. No. I'm saying I'm just saying it's an option.
Yeah.
I'm just saying it's an option.
I agree that that's totally logical considering how people are scheduled sometimes. They're like, do we really want this guy waiting around for 3 more weeks so that we can shoot chronologically?
Well,
let's just stick him against that wall, have him say, oh boy, well, that was a fun adventure, and then send him home. Because that's how episode 9 ends. That was a fun adventure.
Yeah, so, I mean, it's possible he has the last line. I'm not really harping too much on that, but one thing I do want to talk about is, you know, him being done filming and Boyega saying, oh, we have a little more to go. So I went digging back to like The Last Jedi, and I know it's a different movie, different production, all that stuff. But so Anthony Daniels announced his wrap of that on July 6th, 2016. And the movie announced it wrapped on July 22nd. So it was about 2 weeks and a couple of days after he announced he was done before they wrapped up the movie. Now, obviously, you're talking about a completely different story, a movie that wrapped 5 months before its title was announced with The Last Jedi, so completely different. But just to give you a little perspective on, you know, all right, he wrapped up then they announced, you know, a couple of weeks later. So I think in the next week or so, you're going to see more of the main actors saying, it's been great, it's been done, we're all set, it's awesome. And they're still going to do more wrap shots after that, like a couple of weeks after the actors are done. So I still think we're looking at mid-Feb to late Feb for a title. I know people are like losing their mind about it, but hey, you know, I think that's just my take on what's going to happen.
So while I agree with you, John, is it possible that we don't see John Boyega, Daisy Ridley, or anybody like that like talk about it, but it's just like,
where
boom,
is Daisy? Has anybody seen her?
Wrap
is she
production.
okay?
No, you know what?
Yeah.
Good for Daisy Ridley and Adam Driver to not have social media, because I think they'd both blow their minds. But John Boyega, I think he'll shoot out I'm done Instagram post in the next like week.
Yeah, I probably shouldn't have.
Maybe even this week, because this is Monday. Maybe this week he'll post like, hey,
I probably shouldn't have used them as the examples. I guess I'm thinking like Oscar Isaac and maybe JJ. You know what I mean? Like,
I think Oscar Isaac's done already.
Yeah, he's definitely done. I'm curious if Daisy is all right. No one's seen or heard from her for a while.
Daisy really
she's
just
busy.
She's just doing things the right way by just staying out of the spotlight.
I know. I think Adam would too if he wasn't up for all these awards. He'd probably not be.
Yeah,
he looks
that's
uncomfortable in all these interviews.
I know.
My question was going to be, is there any chance that there's more Rey in this movie because she's out of sight and we're seeing Adam Driver still have enough time to go here and do this, or do you think
they work around his schedule?
I mean, as much, you know, Rey is our protagonist. She's our Luke Skywalker for this trilogy, as much as Mark Hamill doesn't want to admit that. I think she's our star. I think she's going to have the biggest role, and she's going to have the biggest arc in this movie. That's probably, you know, it'll parallel with what happens with Kylo Ren or whatever. But I don't think her not being around or not being seen. We'll see plenty of Daisy Ridley when they ramp up the all the interviews and the marketing and stuff like that.
Yeah, and to be fair, it's not like, I mean, she doesn't have a movie that she was nominated for. Or she doesn't have this other movie that was nominated for.
I think she also just hates the spotlight. Like, she likes the acting, and I'm sure she likes the money, but I don't think she likes the attention that comes with it.
It is funny. That's probably an afterthought, but it is kind of funny to think like, I don't really like the spotlight. Yes, I will take the main character in Star Wars, you know? Yeah.
I don't really see her as like a social ham like John Boyega. He loves doing all these skits and bits and all this stuff. And he loves going to Disney World and making fun of stormtroopers. I agree. She's not that type of person.
I mean, you have to remember that right after The Force Awakens came out, someone found her on Google Earth. Like, she was outside her house. Like, the car drove by as she was standing there, and she had to move because people started going to her house.
It's ridiculous.
Yeah. So I can imagine that did not start off her career in a really good place.
Wow.
On the public spotlight. She was like taking out her trash.
That's ridiculous. Do you guys want to talk about some leaks? Let's call them leaks, right?
Yeah, sure.
Sure.
So episode 9 is filming, as we've thoroughly discussed. And we've seen some set photos from other people that are, you know, hey, here's a leak. And we got this guy that pops up and took some pictures, put them on his Instagram, and he was saying, whatever this set is, it's a Star Wars set, and there's a lot of snow. It almost kind of has this like Star Killer based look to it, and they put all the photos up. In our opinion, it looks legit because it looks like it lines up with all the other stuff. It looks like the episode 9 sets we've seen in other believable leaks. Believable leak is a hot word these days. But what do you guys think about a snowy location? Is this boring? Like, we've done the snow thing so many times. Is snow becoming the new sand? Lacey, or do you think there's any possibility that we could be going back to some of these locations we've seen before? Maybe this is a Hoth? No, probably not. But something.
I don't know.
Something
I'm
we've
sick
seen
of
before,
snow
maybe?
and sand, and I've said this a billion times. Like, I'm so pumped about the scene that they claim is a jungle. I'm like, hell yeah, give me jungle. But I guess it's Star Wars to be in snow and sand, I guess. I don't know what to say besides, like, they've done it over and over and over and over again.
I remember one of your first times on the podcast, you were like, why is it always snow and always sand? And I was like, well, scientifically, there's going to be more likely planets that are too close to the sun or too far away from a sun.
Right.
So it's likely that you have a lot more cold or hot planets.
Way to bring logic to the conversation, James.
Than that Goldilocks planet. But I don't know. I can understand it being old. But this set looks different, John, don't you think? This doesn't quite look like a Hoth. A Starkiller base kind of looked like a forest set in the 20-degree region. You know, it just kind of had some light snow. It looked like a nice mountainscape. You feeling it?
Yeah. I mean, I really loved the forest snow stuff from The Force Awakens. It's one of my favorite sets in Star Wars because of the contrast with the lightsabers to the white snow and stuff. And it gave me that enchanted, haunted forest vibe that you like in fantasy stories. So I was sucked right into that. Loved it. I'm not saying they're bringing back another Starkiller. That'd be kind of crazy for JJ to do that after all the flack he got for rehashing, A New Hope. But
it's a bigger Starkiller.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Rewind to 1983, guys.
Super Starkiller base.
They're not going to bring back another Death Star. Right. Like a bigger, crazier Death Star. That'd be just be ridiculous.
Well, one thing though is like the structures. If you see like the buildings around where that guy was taking photos, some of them look like stable existing old buildings with like the rounded archway entries, and it looks like something that has been there for a long time. So we may be in a snowy type of place. Some people are like, well, maybe it's salt again, or who cares, whatever. We're in some place that's white. It may be more of an ancient thing than like a newly created thing, like Starkiller was carved into this planet. Mm-hmm. Maybe it's a flashback to Starkiller before it became a weapon. Like, who knows what this is? They can do anything with Star Wars now because they do flashbacks. But what I do know is there's only so much terrain you can do if you're filming on Earth, and they're obviously they're creating snow in this area for a reason, because they said it's fake snow. They added it to this place that wasn't cold or whatever, and then they showed that some of the trees are burnt all the way to the top. So it looks like they made them look like it went through some kind of fights or warfare. So I don't know. I mean, I'm into it just because it looks like it's a tangible Star Wars set on location somewhere. And I'm always down with that, as much as people are like, yeah, we get it, practical and sets, blah, blah, blah. But yes, I do love that. That's what I love. So without knowing what this is, I dig it. Okay? I dig it.
I dig it. We did get a full CG planet. Where have we gotten full CG planets? Coruscant is a full CG planet. That's not shot on Earth. What
about the Gungan City? That's 100%.
Gungan City.
Yeah, so I'm trying to think of when Star Wars has broken the mold to the extent that we couldn't film that on Earth, but it's maybe something where humans could be.
Like I said, the one thing the prequels did well was create new cities by using.
That's what I loved about the prequels. Honestly, of anything else, all the different planets and stuff were just like the coolest thing to me. And then I feel like the original, I understand because they needed practical, they needed actual places that existed on the planet. And then with the sequel trilogy, I'm like, okay, I get it. Sand planet, woohoo. Forest, okay. And like all you want to see is something bizarre.
We're in Arizona, okay. Yeah. You know what we haven't...
and a beach.
You know what we haven't really done that the original trilogy did? The idea of the space station. I see that in the comic books, they have these like jails, that are just like floating... kind of ISS kind of things,
That's very Guardians of the Galaxy to me.
Well, sure, but like I'm picturing something like that they could do. That's some sort of like city that's like that has no planet, but they go there, or even Han Leia kind of walking around on the asteroid. I know that's a little different than what really happened. They were kind of inside the monster, but they also kind of thought that they landed on the asteroid and then were like leaving the Falcon. You know what I mean?
The monster
it's
where
kind of
they
like,
just go like, whoa, and then the camera goes like this. Whoa.
And it was perfect.
Wait a second. Like that Family Guy thing. Hold on a minute. Yeah.
Why
but
did
I
they
don't
get
know.
sucked into the vacuum of space, though, by the way? Not to take us off track here.
Because they were inside his mouth.
Which was open.
Yeah.
Stop getting bogged down in details, John.
Also, I must ask Pablo, why is there no gravity? Why is there gravity in space?
Yeah.
And he'll be like,
they just walked out there too, like with a mask. Like, well, we don't know what's out there, so they walk out with a mask, but it's like, I mean, also it's probably freezing and like tons of other things, but must have went real deep into that asteroid. It must have a molten center. All right, we're getting way off. I just want to see something different, and I hope that episode 9 could possibly bring us that interesting new planet that, you know, some of the comics or some of the novels or even like the little short kid stories and stuff talk about. There's like all these weird planets where like cities are on top of large lizards, like literally, like in the back of the leaks, tortoise shell type of stuff.
Right. So like the plot leaks that were on Reddit months ago had mentioned something of like an underwater city. I thought that was cool. I was like, all right.
Yeah, I mean, that's cool, but it's also kind of okay. Like, we've seen that.
Not as much as snow and sand, dude. I'll take ocean anytime.
No, I do agree with that 100%. I'm just saying I think it would be neat for Rey and Poe and Finn to go to a planet where when they land, they realize the city is on top of a giant turtle, or something. That's cool.
Yeah. Or Coruscant. Bring back Coruscant.
No.
Bring it back.
Hashtag bring back Coruscant.
Bring back Coruscant.
God, Coruscant's terrible.
No, I never talked to them. I never did that as something for the Patreon, Lacey, but I called Lacey one night and had this whole big pitch about the end of episode 9 returning to Coruscant, and Rey and Kylo have their final battle on Coruscant. It was pretty sweet. Yeah, I forget all the details, though. It sounds pretty lame right now.
It'd be like the end of Superman 2, where they just destroy the city by throwing each other back and forth, or The Matrix, or any movie where two people battle in a city and destroy everything.
It could be that, John, if you don't have any imagination.
I just want them to go back. I'm going to start that hashtag, bring back Coruscant. Pablo, bring back Coruscant. Matt Martin, bring back Coruscant.
Yeah. No, hopefully not.
Like they have authority at
we sit down for the movie, the first scene, it's like, in Coruscant. John's like, no!
Yeah, that's when I start my anti-Disney YouTube channel.
Actually, the movie gets pushed back another 6 months because an online petition started by Lacey Gillerin had hashtag make Coruscant happen again.
Make Coruscant happen too.
I'm gonna start a remake, a GoFundMe remake episode 9 before episode 9 comes out.
Could you imagine, John? You're sitting in the theater. It's like, in Coruscant, the Resistance is looking for allies.
Oh my God.
I turn to John. John's just like, no, they did it.
Oh no, I'll still be like, all right, let's see what happens.
What if the title? What if the title is straight up like it says Coruscant in it, like back to Coruscant we go?
That's Star Wars Episode 9. Yeah. Coruscant.
Coruscant.
Yeah, it's like Coruscant Nights.
Yeah.
One thing we haven't really talked too much about the possibility of, what if there is a base world for the First Order? And this is what that snowy planet is, or any planet in this movie is. Like,
why they like snow so much?
What if it's the Resistance taking the fight to wherever the First Order is located? Because all they've had is the weapon Starkiller, which was just finished right before they used it. So I don't think that was their
maybe they
base.
replicated it. Yeah.
No.
And then in The Last Jedi, they're in space the whole time. So where's the First Order stationed? So maybe we find that out in episode 9.
This is why we need the Resistance. So this episode comes out.
Yeah.
This
the entire planet is one big First Order.
Why do you think they changed the capital to Hosnian Prime? It's that place is messed up now.
Arriving at new planet Coruscant 2.
Oh yeah, Coruscant 2. It's a bigger Coruscant.
Oh, no, it's new Coruscant.
New Coruscant.
Yeah.
It's just all red and black.
Gosh, guys, we've talked a lot about Coruscant. I will say that this is where we need the resistance. Because I'm pretty sure the First Order doesn't have a home base. They don't have a whole planet. I believe that their whole thing was they were fleets of old super Star Destroyers. That's where it started. There was like one missing super Star Destroyer, and then Ray Sloan found it. That's where all this got started. I don't think they have like a planet.
So where did they build the Dreadnought? Like, where is their factories?
Corellia.
Where, you know what I mean?
They're
back on Corellia.
Yeah.
Han Solo's like, I have an idea where they might be.
Didn't Bloodline kind of talk about no, maybe not. Something about like there was funding.
I remember there was talk of funding. Yeah.
What was like funding them? Yeah, I don't know, man. Okay, well, pop in, guys. Comment in, on the YouTube so that anybody who wants to know the answers will get filled in by you guys.
Where did they build the Dreadnought? Comment with where they built the Dreadnought. Even
Let's
if
ask,
you don't know, just say they
the
built
supremacy
it in Coruscant 2 or something like that.
Yeah, New Coruscant. All right, guys, that's it. That's all we got this week on news. We're going to do a Scoundrels rundown. I'm going to send it over to John, and then we'll get to those Resistance transmissions.
All right, guys, we do have a little time here, so I'm going to bring James and Lacey. I'm going to pepper them into this rundown a little bit because we have one item in this rundown that definitely involves the three of us and you guys if you're going to be in Chicago in a couple of months. So without any more delays, Mr. Baca de Chu on 3, 2, 1... Punch it!
Punch it! I tried to be exactly like Lacey.
We're going to kick this thing off right now. The Scoundrels Rundown begins by talking about us. Yes, it has officially been announced. If you go to the Star Wars Celebration official website, you will find the Resistance broadcast. That's right, our ragtag trio right here. Brought to you by StarWarsNewsNet.com. We are going to be on the podcast stage at Star Wars Celebration, April 11th to the 15th. We're not sure when our date or time slot is yet, but we will let you know. James and Lacey, we know we announced this already because we kind of did, but it's official. It is canon. It is Celebration canon.
It's canon.
That we are going to be on the podcast stage. We know it's not going to be Monday. We'll tell you guys that much. Well, other than that, we have no idea. Guys, are you excited? I know we're starting our planning behind the scenes, but real quick, just give them an idea of your feelings about everything and what you hope for.
Ooh, Lacey. No, I don't. I mean, what's there to be said that hasn't already been said? I'm super excited to do this. I'm really excited to sit in front of the audience, sit in front of you guys. I want everybody to come. I want everybody to bring friends. I want us to be able to do this kind of like in a live manner that we've never done before. John is doing this. I don't know what that means. With his hands.
Come to us.
I don't know what to do with my hands.
But yeah, I think there's a lot of planning that goes into it because you guys know that we put a lot of work into the show as it is with like the transitions and music and things like that. So there's a lot to coordinate. But I am very highly anticipating this. Lacey, repeat everything I just said.
Yeah, I mean, it's going to be definitely exciting, guys. I'm super pumped. I've worked the event. I've gone to the event as a fan, and this will be, in all the years that I've worked at shows, my very first panel that I've been on. I've never been on a panel, so you guys get to experience the first time I'm on a public stage.
Oh no.
I'm not nervous at all. I'm lying. I'm super nervous. We'll see how it goes. Hopefully I don't turn bright red out of anxiety.
Yeah,
we all lock up. We're all the whole show.
We're gonna give like Lacey like sedating pills, and she's gonna be like, "I love Star Wars."
Jango Fett is the best Fett.
I might do like a shot before.
Yeah. No, guys, we are super excited about this. It's personally my first celebration, hence my first panel. So I'm excited. I'm nervous, but I'm confident that we're gonna give you guys a good time in our hour slot. Like James said, if you're listening to this, if you're watching this, if you are going to Celebration, stay tuned. Please come check us out. We are going to give you a great hour, a fun hour. We promise it'll be worth it. It'll be a great time, and we hope to hang out with you after our panel. Stay tuned for details. Star Wars Celebration in April. We hope you're there. We hope to see you there. And it's going to be very awesome.
And we'll have giveaways.
Yeah, we may have giveaways.
No, we were going to.
We may.
We may.
Oh, we may.
The answer, no, I won't do it.
Okay. The next story, guys, Richard E. Grant is still smiling. He's still smiling. That's all this guy does is smile. He's like, I'm so happy to be a part of Star Wars.
That's scary.
I was a fan when I was 3 years old.
It's kind of scary
excited.
accurate, though.
Okay.
He's the
but
best.
he said the secrecy, everything's such a damn secret. He said it will be worth it for all the fans in the end when you know what happens in this story. Trust me, it will be worth it.
Did you hear what they had him do, though?
Yes, he had to wear like a cover,
robe
a shawl
going,
over his head
to go
because
from
he had to
trailer
watch out,
to set.
He had to watch out for all the drones because they didn't want to see his Thrawn makeup when he was walking into Pinewood Studios. I'm kidding. He denied that about 6 months ago, but people still think he's going to be Thrawn, so that's okay.
They sign out scripts. They have to put them in a like.
Oh, it is.
They have someone watch you while you read it. It's insane.
It's insane.
That's why I
really
said on
is.
Twitter, I was like, guys, remember all those leaks you see on Reddit? Like, let's take a step back and realize how much security is going on here. That no one's
crazy.
like, well, my buddy works for them. He told me not to say anything,
Right.
so I'm going to put this online.
Yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
God.
Yep.
People are
Yeah, how about that Super Bowl trailer last night, right? Okay, so our last story, guys. Mandalorian behind the scenes photo gives us R5D4? Maybe? Maybe?
Yeah.
Jon Favreau is peppering in old school nostalgia objects throughout his Instagram page. We saw the ice cream maker from Wilrow Hood running through the hallways of Cloud City. We saw potentially IG-88. We saw potentially Boba Fett's weapon from the holiday special. We now see potentially what might be R5D4, the droid that Owen and Luke initially took on Tatooine, who, because of some silly comic, turns out he sacrificed himself so R2-D2 can take his message to Obi-Wan Kenobi.
I refuse that. It just happened.
He blew his bad motivator, and he might be back. So maybe he got a new motivator, and Jon Favreau found new ways to motivate him. So R5 Demption, here we go. That is pretty much it.
R5 Demption.
I'm looking for. I tweeted that from Star Wars Newsnet. I was like, this works.
Really trying there. Really reaching.
They liked it. What can I say? All right, guys. So we're looking forward to more stuff coming out of The Mandalorian. I am pretty sure we're all confident we're going to see a clip, at least, that doesn't involve just Easter eggs in a few months at Celebration. And that does it, guys. So the rundown is complete. We're going to send it over now to Lacey, who instead of Ask the Resistance, we're flipping the script. And we're going to fire up some Resistance transmissions. I'm excited about this one. I think it's a good one. So Chewie, my friend, get us out of here.
All right, guys, it's time for Resistance transmissions. And so this week, the situation, which last week was a little crazy, or the week before last.
Yeah, it's like 2 weeks ago.
2 weeks ago. But I've gotten
5 weeks ago.
I've gotten it together. I'm ready to go. Okay, so Star Wars Episode 9 is being marketed as the conclusion to the Skywalker saga. What character would you like to see have the last line in the film and why? The best answers will be read on the show with a shout out. First of all, a lot of you said that C-3PO, or a lot of you said C-3PO, which would be fitting since he spoke the first line ever in Star Wars, so we can't list them all, but we'll acknowledge you through the Force. I didn't write that corny line, John did.
Yeah, and you read it perfectly.
No, John is like,
you weren't reading it.
John looks like that mom that's like doing the dance with her like
with the
7-year-old daughter. No, like with the camera. Yeah.
You're doing amazing.
He's like sitting there
sweetie.
like
you're doing amazing.
going through all the process, like he knows what part's coming up. Yeah.
All right, first one up is Kevin at Jedi in Nyack?
Jedi-niac. Like a maniac. That's a Jedi. Jedi-niac.
Okay, and he said, there's only one answer. Luke saying, the Force will be with you. Always. Oh, that's cute.
Now,
but Luke's dead.
I hate to break it to Kevin. I hate to break it to Kevin,
But Luke's
but
dead.
there's like 9 more answers.
Oh yeah, it says there's only one answer, but there's like 9 other answers.
There's like 9 more.
Sorry, Kevin, you just went first. Next is Rick Venanueva at Cad Bane's Bounty. And he says, mirroring the opening line of The Phantom Menace, Chewie will finally be given the rank of captain. He will be addressed as such by Rey or Lando before the Falcon blasts into hyperspace. Credits. Parenthesis. I love if it was Leia, but that's unlikely. Sad face. Parenthesis. I love that Twitter's so long now people can write essays for their answer. That is a great answer. Next is Shara-2 at Gia Siak 2. She likes 2. I would
Maybe that's her last name.
and she wrote, I would like to see Ben Solo and Rey putting their children to sleep. Aww. And asking R2 to tell a story.
Somebody
that
put me to
begins...
sleep. Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
Tell them a story that begins a long time ago in a galaxy far, far away. Oh, that's kind of cute, though. I get it.
That is, yeah, it's like one of those meta answers. Is that how the best way to describe that?
No, that is not meta.
Yeah. Although it wouldn't be far, far away. I don't know. Like, I wouldn't tell a kid, I wouldn't tuck in my son and be like, let me tell you a story about my grandparents. It happened a long time ago in a galaxy far away. Like,
well,
that's
it
weird,
reminds
right?
me of like parents telling their kids like Once Upon a Time, but then it also reminds me of like Hunger Games at the end of Hunger Games where Katniss is like, you know, there are worse games to play, and you're like, duh, 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 Hunger Games.
Ray and Ben's kid's gonna be like, who did you guys defeat to save the galaxy? And he's gonna be like, me. I'm the guy.
Yeah, it was a dark time. Like,
I went through a phase.
I'm not bad anymore.
Okay, next is Celebrating Star Wars at Celebrating SW. Hey, Celebrating, we hope to see you at Celebration. And they
Celebrating.
said, Luke, maybe not as the last line pre-credits, but at the end of the credits, like Vader's breathing in The Phantom Menace, just saying, the Force will be with you, always. All right. End credits.
I have a little bit of issue with if the movie ends with may the Force be with you, or the Force be with you always, because I think there's something too winky there.
Imagine the pressure of writing that last line. I'm so sorry, JJ.
That's why it's going to be like an arbitrary line. Like, okay, let's go.
I totally agree with you. What was the last line of Return of the Jedi?
He's my brother.
Is it?
Yeah.
Imagine if it was like something, and we still have like more to go, but imagine if it was something like Rey and the Falcon looking at Chewie going, punch it. And then that's how it ends.
Yeah.
See, that's the thing is I don't see that happening. I see that happening like in Solo, you know?
Yeah.
That's supposed to be like a fun,
it's supposed to be
winky,
the first
good time
to launch us into his story.
If we're thinking about how the original trilogy ended, it has to be like some type of celebration. Everyone's together, looking at each other, smiling, pan the crowd. Everyone's like, hooray. And it's like, did it.
Yeah. Yeah. A lot of Star Wars movies have like the last line and then do 2 minutes of just like sprinkle of everybody doing stuff. Yeah. Just like, and
they're like, let's see what's happening on Coruscant.
that damn planet. It even pops back up in the original trilogy.
And they're all cheering.
Damn you, George!
and they're pulling down one half of the Snoke statue.
Bring Coruscant back. Next is Brandon Treadway at Brandon Nerd 12. He says, Anakin's Force Ghost. My bad, everyone. My bad.
That's the last line in Star Wars. Just Hayden Christensen going, my bad.
Next is
everybody like trying to chase him down, but he's like, I'm a ghost. You can't arrest me.
You cannot. Yes.
Next is Mixter at Mixta110. He says,
still haven't received his mixtape yet.
Yeah. What the hell? Next is not next. So he says, spoken word, maybe C-3PO or Luke Ghost saying, the Force will be with you always. But I really hope it ends with a Chewie roar into the credits. That's a John answer.
Yeah. John is Mixta.
The A New Hope ended with Chewie roaring, right? So maybe they go full circle.
Maybe. Bruno de Amara.
Actually, technically, Solo did. Remember that was the whole thing with the Solo challenge.
Yeah.
We debated who actually had the last line, and it was Chewie. He was like,
we have to have a Star Wars war. Is Chewie growling lines? Are those lines?
Yeah, who has the most final lines in Star Wars? Right now, Chewie's got the lead.
Got the most.
All right. Next is Bruno de Amaral at Bruno de Amaral. And he says Kylo Ren is redeemed. Yes. But walks off from the Resistance. He gets some death sticks in a Coruscant club. Oh, we're back on Coruscant.
What is going on?
And Ben Solo. Now this is pole dancing.
Oh no.
What?
Who's there too?
And then Ninub, who happens to be in there as well.
He's like a fisher.
So in other words, Bruno is saying Kylo got redeemed, but he's like, but I'm out. And he goes to Coruscant to like a strip club and he watches a pole dancer and Yendub is that just happens to be there and he's giggling at what Ben Solo's saying.
That's actually my favorite part.
Episode 9's gonna end.
But
it's
what
like
are
Ben
death
being
sticks?
like, I didn't even know you were here.
Death sticks. Do you want to buy some death sticks? Remember?
Yeah, what are you talking about?
What are
You
death
you should go home and rethink your life. And he's like, I should go home and rethink
Oh,
my life.
Lacey should go home and watch Attack of the Clones.
Nah, I'm good.
Yeah.
That's
That's
funny.
why she doesn't know it.
Next is Kyle at Tumbling Saber
What's up, Kyle?
Hey, Kyle. He says Lando back in the cockpit of Falcon. Okay, there's never be Lando. Okay. Punch at Chewie. Iris out. I know John will like it because it means Chewie the Falcon and Lando all survive episode 9. I love how people now think Chewie's not going to survive because I've been jokingly saying it to you for months. That now people
Chewie's
are
surviving,
like,
everybody.
now that John is just like, wait, what? And our listeners are just like, well, I mean, Chewie could die. And John's like, what? No. I'll join the riot if any of those 3 things are lost in the film. So Kyle agrees with you, but I don't see Lando delivering the last line, seeing as Lando is the last addition to this movie.
I like the idea of JJ being like, I always like Star Trek better. Suck it. And he just like crashes the Falcon, kills Lando and R2 and C-3PO. Like,
yeah.
And Chewbacca. Like, it just
The
ruins
biggest heel
everything.
turn of all time. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
So the reason I can tell you that it's not Lando is because this is something I couldn't say before, but I can say it now. Lando was supposed to go to Rose City Comic-Con, and he couldn't go because he was shooting episode 9. So, not going to happen.
Let me tell you something
All right.
right now. That was a great Resistance transmission, Kyle.
It was a great answer. I'm just saying it's not going to happen. You think Lando's going to end the Skywalker saga?
No,
Come on,
I'm
guys.
just saying it was a great Resistance transmission.
Sucking up to John, Kyle. I see you. I see you. Next
I've read ahead, John. I've read ahead.
Next is at Austin Hockert. So it's like a stage direction. Last scene. Ray. So what should we do now? Oh no. Kylo slowly turning to face the camera.
We have to kill it before it goes away.
Lacey?
Okay, hold on. Last scene, Ray. So what should we do now? Kylo, slowly turning to the face of the camera. The answer may surprise you. Did it.
Directed by
J.J. Abrams. Yeah.
See, now, the thought behind this is beating this joke over the head to the point where it evaporates into nothingness. But
Will it though? Will it?
I think everyone hates it so much that they like doing it.
Hey, John hates it so much. Guys, thank you so much for your answers. If you want to be on the show, make sure to follow us at RBATSWNN on Twitter. Every week, John puts up a crazy, wacky situation that you can give an answer to. And if you're the best answer, most creative, it could be sad sometimes. We prefer not sad, or I prefer not sad. If it's funny, creative, happy, not about Kylo dying, then you could be on the show.
Oh, we'll talk about that on Thursday.
Back to you, John.
Hey, everybody. Yeah, so Resistance Transmissions, it's a good time. We like to have fun with that stuff. Sometimes we throw the serious ones at you, but we like to keep it loose, light in the show, and see if Lacey can get through it. So, you know.
The answer may surprise you.
The answer to that would not surprise you. She rarely keeps a straight face through those things. So good
Is
job.
that a challenge? Because I could definitely do it if it was a challenge. I just like laughing.
We'll see. We'll see. All right, guys. First off, I do want to thank all of our patrons on our Patreon page at patreon.com/resistancebroadcast. You had recently helped us reach our second goal, so we recorded a commentary for A New Hope, which we hope to have out soon for you guys. And I want to say special thanks to our generals on our Patreon page, Adam Odell, Carmelo, Jeremy Shook, and Val Trichkoff. Thank you, generals, so much for all you do.
Those are awesome.
And truly thank you to all of our patrons. Collectively, you guys are awesome. You make it possible for us to do so much. So thank you so much. If you have any interest at all in our exclusive content, head to patreon.com/resistancebroadcast. For $2 a month, you get new stuff from us pretty much every day with the exclusive content that we do here. And out and about in the galaxy far, far away, including a bunch of stuff at Star Wars Celebration we'll be doing. So very cool there. Guys, make sure you do subscribe to the podcast, which will always be free every Monday and Thursday. You can find on iTunes, SoundCloud, Spotify, and YouTube. If you're watching us, hello, how are you? Someone else told me recently we're on some other podcast stuff that we have subscribers a part of. I have no idea about. I guess Google Play, maybe Acast, all a bunch of other stuff people say they listen to us on. So how are you out there? Thank you so much for listening to us on those platforms as well. Make sure you guys head to StarWarsNewsNet.com for all of your latest news, reviews, editorials, information, and more. You guys can find me on Twitter at Johnny Hoey and writing and editing over at StarWarsNewsNet.com. James Banis of the Baney. What about you?
You guys can find me on Twitter and Instagram at Mario Trunks. Get me out of here. I'm just kidding.
What is happening?
I don't know. My pen didn't write. It was supposed to be faster. It was supposed to be during your time. All right, never mind. I'm excited because on this Thursday we're having Alex and Molly come on the show, and we're going to be talking about a lot of stuff.
Who?
As far as like Alex and Molly.
Alex.
Everybody knows Alex and Molly.
Alex and Molly. You have to explain to me what they're from.
They explain things.
You guys are really dragging this out. They're from Star Wars Explained.
Star Wars. Okay. No, but we're having them on the show, and we're going to be talking about, tempering expectations and stuff like that. Just like I know someday I'm going to have to create a t-shirt or a sticker or something about this whole answer may surprise you thing. And I don't know what I'm going to deliver. You know what I mean? It's so many expectations for how we're going to do it. And I don't know. I'm going to have to live up to all the hype, and it's just going to be a big thing.
We should make it a sticker and just call it "This sticker may surprise you" or something.
Yeah. This t-shirt may surprise you. Like, it's just everything. This mug may surprise you.
Where can everybody find you?
I don't know who that is. Guys, you can find me at Lacey Gillerin on Twitter and Instagram, where I talk about Star Wars and post some funny videos now and then, post some crazy statements that people go crazy over. It's all good. We're all having fun.
Yes.
Yeah.
Am I right?
Lacey always finds
that was
the funny
like
videos and posts them on her
subtweeting to a crazy degree.
Most of them I find, and then John will send me a funny video and I'll post it because he won't post it because I'm faster than him and have better editing skills.
That's not wrong. But whatever.
Yeah.
It makes the world go around, right? All right, guys. Thank you so much for listening, watching. We hope you had a good time. That does it for our Monday show. We hope you have a good week, but buckle in, because on Thursday, as James alluded to, we will be joined by the Star Wars Explained crew. That's Alex and Molly Damon. We're going to talk about a lot of things. The Will of the Force is coming back on Thursday, guys.
Woo!
We have some great topics we're going to dive into, and we are going to have a discussion about tempering some of those preconceptions you have about what may happen in upcoming Star Wars stuff, just to not set yourself up to hate this stuff, because you have to remember, we're the fans, they're the creators, so we're going to get into a pretty interesting discussion about that. So thank you so much, and we will see you on Thursday morning right here on the Resistance broadcast. We'll see you around, kids.
Bye.